travel has changed a lot over the last few years. Like, it's become more of a race to check places off of a to-do list rather than to really experience a destination. Well, today I'm going to share with you 5 secrets on how to level up your next vacation so it can be your most unforgettable one yet. Let's go. Hello and welcome back, or welcome if you're new here. I'm Christy, the Genx Gypsy, and on this channel, not only do I like to share packing tips and gear advice, but I also love to share inspiration and motivation so that you can get the most out of your travels. And today I'm super excited about this video. It's one I've wanted to make for a while. Today I'm sharing my top 5 secrets for how I make every trip a memorable adventure. And we are going to start off with tip number 1, which is to chase experiences, not sights. And what I mean by this is when you are planning your trip, or perhaps you are already in your destination, look for the things that you want to do and be doing, not the places that you want to see. I try to always incorporate some sort of experience into wherever I am going. And I know that sounds very vague and broad because it is, because there's so many different experiences based on whatever destination you're going to. And honestly, most of the time when I'm planning my own trips, I'm planning my trip around an experience, not a place that I want to see. When we were planning the Nordic trip that we took a little over a year ago now, the impetus for that trip was the fact that I wanted to stay in an ice hotel. So it wasn't that I wanted to see an ice hotel, I wanted to do the whole experience of spending the night in an ice hotel. So that kind of kicked off the whole idea of doing that trip throughout all of the Nordic countries, because once I started figuring out that I wanted to stay in the ice hotel, I was like, well, we're going to be above the Arctic Circle, so I want to see the northern lights. And then it just kind of snowballed from there, no pun intended, on the things that we wanted to do and see while we were in that part of the country. And that led to so many different experiences. We rode 2 overnight trains. We got to take a ferry across, an overnight ferry across from Finland back to Sweden, which was a whole experience. And I mean, enough experiences that I have a whole vlog series over on the vlog channel, if you want to check that out after this video, of all of the things that we did while we were in the Nordic countries. So every trip that I take, I start with things that I want to do on that trip. When we come here to Puerto Rico, we start the trip, planning the trip out by the experiences that we want to do. This year, we've done multiple experiences that we had not done on previous trips, like doing a cave tubing experience, going down. We had to do a long hike in, we hiked through a couple of caves, we zip lined down to the river, then we hiked up into another cave, jumped off a cliff into the river, and then we tubed down the river. It was an amazing experience. So when you are planning your trip, I'm getting ready to plan a trip with my mom to the Prince Edward Islands. And the first thing that I am going to do is I'm going to look for the experiences that we want to have while we are in that area. Maybe there's a cooking class that we want to do. Maybe there is a tour along the coastline that we want to do. Maybe we want to go out whale watching. I honestly don't know much about the Prince Edward Islands and Nova Scotia as a whole new area to me. So I'm going to have to be doing a lot of research. But the first thing that I'm going to be looking for is experiences to do while we are there, other than seeing things about the Anne of Green Gables, which is the whole reason my mom wants to go. If any of y'all out there have visited Prince Edward Islands in the Nova Scotia area and you have some suggestions on things to do while we are there, please let me know in the comments below, because I will be planning that trip very, very soon. Secret number 2, be in good travel shape. Now, in order to do some of these more memorable experiences, like hiking in the Ireland Hills or doing the cave tubing experience here in Puerto Rico, you need to be in pretty good physical shape. And one of my favorite ways to stay in good physical shape, especially when I am traveling, is by using the Get Healthy UTV app. And I want to thank Get Healthy UTV for being the sponsor of today's video. Get Healthy UTV is an amazing resource, not just for workouts, but also health tips and inspiration. I love that Get Healthy UTV has specific programs created just for women our age. If you're just beginning your health and fitness journey, there are programs for you like Active Aging Beginner and Fit Over 60. While I've been in Puerto Rico, I've really enjoyed doing their mini band workouts to keep up with my strength training. Whether I'm snorkeling, hiking, climbing up waterfalls, jumping off cliffs, or reeling in a fish, I know that I've put the work in using GHUTV beforehand to be ready for whatever adventure I might run into. Get Healthy UTV has a special offer for my community. The first 1,000 of you watching this video who scan the QR code on the screen or use the link in my description will get the first full year of Get Healthy UTV Premium for only $1.49. This offer is valid for new members only. Start using GHUTV now so you can be ready for all of your upcoming spring and summer travels. Thank you again to Get Healthy UTV for sponsoring this part of the video. And secret number 3 is another reason you're going to want to be using that Get Healthy UTV app. It is to make a food list of foods to try when you are at your destination. This is probably my favorite tip on this entire list. But I can't take credit for this idea. This idea came from my friend Brenda when we went on our trip to Peru, which has been, I think, over 10 years now that we went to Peru. She came up with the idea, and I don't know if she got it from someone else, but I'm giving her full credit for it because it was definitely her idea for that trip. We came up together with a list of about 20 or 25 different foods to try while we were in Peru. And if you don't know, Peru is quite the foodie country. They have amazing food. And yes, we did try the guinea pig, which is one of the top things that they tell you need to try. It's a delicacy there. Not my favorite. It's a little greasy, but there are a lot of other things that we tried while we were in Peru too that were specific to Peru, and some things were specific to certain regions of Peru. So ever since then, I have made a food list either before I leave to go on a trip or sometimes not until I am in the place that I am visiting. We did a whole video in Stockholm where we went around and tried various different Swedish foods that we could find. There are a lot of foods that were suggested to try in Sweden that are usually more home-cooked foods. So I've gotten a lot of push. It's my most popular video over on my travel vlog channel. I'll have my travel vlog channel linked below if you want to actually see what our adventures are about and some of these food things that I'm talking about. I got a lot of pushback from some of the Swedes about how I described the food and when I was eating it. But everywhere we've gone, I have tried different foods. Puerto Rico, I'm always trying new stuff here. There's a dessert that I haven't tried yet that is on my list here that hopefully I'm going to get before we leave. It makes it a very unique kind of treasure hunt when you're traveling. I did talk about having a checklist and things to check off, but I think in this case, when it comes to food, it's a very, very fun checklist to do. It's one that you do need to exercise a little bit for because a lot of places we go, sweets tend to be the things that I am eating the most of. Lots and lots of sugar. In fact, I'm going to have to do a sugar detox after I get home from this Puerto Rico trip. And a great way to add to your food list when you are at your destination is to use secret number 4, which is to talk to the locals. When you are out doing your excursions or your tours or just hanging around in your hotel or your Airbnbs or wherever you might come in contact with locals, take the time to chat with them and learn more about the area. Learn about other foods that you might want to try that you didn't find during your research, because there's a lot of things, as much as the internet knows and as much as ChatGPT knows these days, there's still stuff that I learn from talking to locals every single day. So use the time that you have with the locals to chat with them, to learn about them, learn about their culture, learn about the foods to eat, learn about other places to go and see that did not pop up when you were doing your research. One of our favorite things here in Puerto Rico when we are doing excursions and we're not off doing things on our own is to share information with the guides. We often learn about the adventures that we go on our own, like the cave we found the other day where we hiked down to a river and there was a cave that we swam through on our own. We were the only people down there. We found out about that through talking to other locals, through talking to some guides. And then sometimes we can tell guides, we'll tell guides about some place that we've been that they've never heard of, which is just crazy. We have learned the most by talking to the local guides. Same thing when we were traveling through the Nordic countries, when we were doing our road trip recently through North Carolina, Kentucky, and Tennessee. I talked to the locals and I found out other places to go besides the ones that I already had on my list. It's just a great way to broaden your experience once you are at a destination. Plus, you just learn so much more. There's never been a time that I've been disappointed in striking up a conversation with a local to learn more. I mean, granted, there's some people that just don't want to talk to you. I get that. But always be open to the ones that are super excited about sharing their culture and their lives and their knowledge with you. Always be open to taking that in and learning from them. Because that is one of the biggest joys to me about travel, is learning about the other people and just making those connections. I'm a Libra, so making connections with people is so important to me. So when I can actually make connections with people, like real solid personal connections with somebody and learn from them, it warms my heart. Now, when you are talking to the locals and you are learning all of this new knowledge, you're learning about new places to possibly go see, you're learning about new foods to try out, you are going to want to incorporate secret number 5, which is to leave time for spontaneous adventures. Always leave time in your itinerary to be able to go off and do something that is unexpected. You never know what opportunities are going to come your way when you are traveling, especially when you put yourself out there and you talk to people and you learn new things every day as you are traveling. Have that space so you're not feeling like you're missing out on the new opportunities that are coming up because you have crammed so much into your itinerary that you don't even have 5 minutes to take out to go do something else. Or at least have maybe a tentative activity scheduled that you're going to do, but then it's something that you can not do and go do something new that you learned about instead. Just have that space available for the spontaneity, because that is truly what is going to take your traveling to the next level. Also, you don't know what weather conditions are going to happen. Weather happens all the time, and as we have seen over the past several years, weather is getting really kind of funky and different and it's predictable, but it's unpredictable. We're getting bigger storms, heavier rain in places that it doesn't usually rain, dry in places that it's usually not so dry. So you want to take into consideration that you might have to work around weather conditions. It certainly is true with the first 2 weeks that we had in Puerto Rico this year. The weather was completely different than it usually is here, and we had to figure out other things to do. So we talked to locals and we found some ideas of different adventures to go on. Leaving that extra space in your itinerary is always going to be helpful, even if you only end up using it for resting. I'm just a huge fan of not overbooking your itinerary for your vacations. You're going to use that space one way or another. So leave the room. It will definitely fill itself up, whether it's some crazy adventure that you learn about and you go off and do with a local, or perhaps it's just time that you're going to go sit at a coffee shop and do some people watching and journaling. One way or another, you will find a way to fill up that space. I know that this community is filled with experienced travelers, so I would love to hear from y'all any tips and advice that you would give on how to create an unforgettable vacation. Let us know down in the comments below. And I do have one last bonus tip to give for how to have a better travel experience, and that is to pack light. And I've done several videos on how to help you pack light, and I think this one over here might be especially helpful. Thank you so much for choosing to watch today's video. I hope that you have safe and wonderful travels.